What's going on, everyone? Today is day number 2 of disciplined trading in a row. So, off to a good start today. So, let's start with the daily time frame and work our way down. All right, on the daily, so when we opened up, I was a little bit nervous because we had been in this kind of chop range the way we had. I did see that we had like a trend line kind of going up here and then increasing up here, so it was kind of coiling and compressing the spring. But we had the pre-market high and the pre-market low were all inside of yesterday's prior day low and prior day high. So it was all inside of that candle. So I was a little bit nervous. I had targets to the downside and I had targets to the upside that we could go to depending on how things went. PPI did not really move the market much this morning, but when market opened, boy, did she move then. So on the 4 hour, you can see overnight, we really didn't do anything. We just kind of stayed in this little area. Here's the pre-market high, pre-market low, sold off in the Asia session, and then in the London session just kind of came back up a little bit. And then all of this was the first candle here at the market open this morning. This candle closed at 10 o'clock. On the 1 hour, you can see it a little bit more. So again, we sold off in the Asia session overnight, and then came back up and kind of chopped around during the London area. 9 o'clock, this was our data. Data came out at 8:30. So this was our data candle for today. And then when we opened up, boom, we just skyrocketed. This box here, this fair value gap, we did dip into it, but we didn't go very far. So I feel like in order to be a healthy trend, I feel like we kind of need to pull back a little bit more. And I was nervous of it pulling back a lot today and feeling a lot of this today. So I was kind of nervous about sizing and everything else. On the 15-minute chart here, you can see this was our 9:30 close candle right here. This was market open candle. We kind of pushed down and then we went up and kind of pulled back down a little bit. So I drew the fair value gap here that included this shelf here and then the fair value gap from there to there. We had another big candle with a fair value gap there. We did pull back to the 50% mark of this fair value gap. So we pulled back on that and then went higher. Had a little shelf with a fair value gap here that we're in right now. All right, so on the 5-minute, you can see, or 15-minute, you can see it a little bit more. So we got our midline right here. We got orb low down here, orb high up here. So we just opened up, pushed up, little red candle here, what some people would call an RBI, and then shoop, we went up. So this is a really strong break on this candle. A lot of times I wait for the pullback, but because we had this big candle, and then this little red candle and another big candle, I decided to just take it. It was a big range this morning. My stop was 1,100 ticks this morning. So almost $600 in risk for one contract on the trade, trading the whole range. I was nervous that we wouldn't make the whole range, but I just didn't have anywhere to put my stop. So gladly my stop was down below the orb low. It had all these shelves and fair value gaps between it to bounce at, to where I could try to find a place to add in. We did push up, we pulled back down. I put this shelf up here as a resistance area if we came back to it. We pushed down, we pulled back up, and then we sold off pretty hard. Sold back down, so my entry was right here. We sold back down to my entry and a little bit below it, but I didn't add in anything there because I didn't want to increase my risk on the trade with my account being in the state that it's in and with the state of my trading over the last few days. I just didn't want to try to add too much too soon. So you can see that there's a lot of fair value gaps and everything that were left, a lot of shelves. We pushed all the way back up. I wasn't here when we pushed all the way back up. I was out, had to meet a buyer at a new construction model home to talk over things, so I wasn't here. When I got home, I closed it a little bit after 4 o'clock when I got back home. But we can see it better on the 1 minute. All right, on the 1 minute, you can see we opened up, we pushed down, we put the low in, and we never looked back. Never. All the way up, put in the high, pulled back a little bit, and then broke through. You can see my entry right here. This was at the close of that 5-minute candle. We pushed up, we pulled back, we slammed through, we kind of chopped sideways, pushed up, pushed sideways, pushed up. When we put in this high up here, I was actually thinking about, like, what do I do? Like, do I just go ahead and take it off? Like, these are small candles. We had chop, 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 and then pop up. I'm like, it just seems like there's not a lot of steam here. The candle looks like it's going to run out. On the 15-minute candle, the 1 hour candle, there's a huge candle, very little wick at the top of each of them. And I was just kind of nervous that we would pull back. And I thought about exiting, but I was like, my target, and this was like 200, maybe 250 bucks, maybe, but I was risking 500. So it was a 0.5 R. And I had all of this. You can see these shelves here and fair value gaps that I drew. So my stop was down here. I had a lot of protection. There's nothing to say that we wouldn't or couldn't, piece of news or something like that come out. But I was torn on what decision to make. Do I let it run? We've been strong all morning. Do I let it pull back a little bit and go from there? So my plan that I made when we were up here, instead of closing it out, or with closing it out, I could have done that as well. I had a plan to enter if we came back into this area here between or at the orb high and VWAP. So we had a bigger gap here when we were up there, but I was like, well, it'll take us a little while to trade down to that. So ideally, and that would be down below, so I would go into drawdown if I left the contract on. Ideally, we'd pull back into this area and I could add another position. Hindsight now tells me I should have sold this position, but you don't have that hindsight in the beginning or at 11 o'clock in the morning. You have to stick with what you're doing. So we pulled back, and I would like to show you TradingView because I've done some drawings on that, but I'll kind of show you what I did on TradingView on here. But so I drew a trend line as we started pushing down, drew support boxes, and done some fib extensions and stuff, trying to figure out, where would price go, or could price go, or where should I look to re-enter. Drew this trend line down here. This is about, see, 30,012. My entry was at 30,128. Looks like, yeah, 30,128. So down here around 30,100 is where I was really anticipating adding in without waiting until we got down there. But I was like, we're just so close to my original entry that I didn't want to add in. I really wanted it to pull down a little bit more. And as you can see, we had a strong push up. We kind of came back down and then went back up. We created this little wedge pattern that I was looking at, and then we took off from there. This is about 1:30. About 2 o'clock is when I left. So about right in here was when I left. We were pulling down toward this, which was nerve-wracking. I did move my stop up halfway to about the midline because I didn't want something bad to happen while I was gone and me not being able to manage anything. While I was gone, we spiked back up to a new high for the day and then kind of pulled back down. And then this spike was at the end of the market, the close of the market, right after 4 o'clock. And, right after 4 o'clock. And then I exited right here. I moved my stop up to here, and then it was kind of chopping right up here. So I was like, I'm going to move my stop up a little bit tighter below this candle with no wick on it in case it pops down. We did pop down, and ended up taking me out there. So overall, really good trading. I'm proud of the trading that I done today. But what I would have done, like I said, in hindsight, is actually go and, I'm going to resize this just a little bit so we can see this a little bit better, is actually trade it a little bit different by getting out up here and adding back in down here, anywhere adding near my current stop or current entry. Would have been an okay add if I'd have locked in the 200 up here, because my stop could have still been in the same place, still risking the same 500, but be up 200 already in case it did go against me. So that's one of the thoughts that I did have. So when I was looking at this, you can see we've got a push down, a push up, a push down, a push up, and a push down. So from here to here to here to here to here to there. Okay, so we've got the push down, a pullback, a push down, a pullback, and a push down. So this is like an ABC or a 1, 2, 3 leg, and then back up. Boom, 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 boom. So with that, it's actually kind of a head and shoulders. Like this is the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. Inverted head and shoulders. You can look for an entry there to go. I ended up just not adding anything. I just couldn't justify adding today with everything. But that, in hindsight, I would have wished, or I do wish that I would have done it. And I said the same thing yesterday, that I wish I had entered another contract at a location. And I don't think that adding would have done me any justice yesterday or today, especially coming off the last few days that I had. So I'm glad that I just stuck with the standard, we'll say, on the one contract and just sticking to it. So it worked out for me today pretty well. Can't complain on the profit that I got, and $54 after the commissions, 50 cents on each contract there. So still not trading the funded account, only trading the prop account, and trying to get this one back up to being funded. I still got $1,000 to go to where I was before I went off the rails. So Definitely learned to sit on my hands a little bit over the last couple of days, trust the system, and just let it play out. I want to make some adjustments, but I'm not going to right yet because I don't want to go off the deep end again. So we'll see what tomorrow brings us. It is Friday, and hopefully we'll have some good market movement for tomorrow, either filling some of those imbalances that we made today or just continuing higher. The ES did make all-time highs today from what I saw. The NASDAQ didn't, so we're dragging behind a good bit on the NASDAQ. So we still got a ways to go to catch up to the ES, and we'll just see how things go tomorrow. So hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm up to 15 subscribers, so I am super happy about that. Like, it's just been, you know, one subscriber here at a time, but I appreciate every subscribe that I get. I am a very small channel. 15 subscribers is very, 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 very tiny. So hopefully people are getting value from this, and the subscribers just continue to grow, and I'm grateful for every subscriber that I have. And hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully you can learn from what I'm going through. And if you're interested in more details on what I do, there is a wealth of information out there on the orb, but I traded a little bit different based on the things that I've learned. So it may be a little bit of a different way of trading the orb than what you've seen. If it clicks with you, let me know. Just leave a comment and let me know. So other than that, hopefully you got a wonderful day planned for the rest of the day. It is 4:40 at the time of recording this. I gotta leave in 20 minutes to go to baseball practice. So hopefully you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you tomorrow.